discuss these things with respect to our Windows internals. So in big five, there are basically five things. One is processes, second one is directories, third one is files, fourth one is users, and fifth one is logs. So you might have seen that in our previous classes also we were concentrating mostly on these things because we want to identify suspicious processes, suspicious directories, suspicious files, suspicious users, and suspicious activity in the logs. So let us first start with suspicious processes. How do you identify that particular process is a suspicious process? There are some indications. First one is that if there's a process, it looks legit. That means it looks like it has a similar name as of legit process, or it can be named as very odd. That means something uh, which you cannot relate to the system. Then there can be network activity which you don't recognize. Then you can also see that a particular process is utilizing high CPU or high RAM. So because of that, your system will become slow. So in order to make it fast, you have to terminate the processes which are taking lot of RAM and consuming lot of CPU power. Then next, you can also notice that there are some processes which you have terminated, but still they are running. Then finally, the combination of the above things which we have mentioned. Now to identify suspicious processes and the unusual ports, there's a command called as netstat. We can say netstat hyphen NALP. So this is the output of netstat hyphen NALP command. So you can see here that it displays the active internet connections, both servers as well as established connections. And it is going to display the protocol. Proto means protocol. Then second one is receiving queue and third one is sending queue. Then the local address. So this is the local address to which I am connected. Now this is the foreign address. Then it is also going to show the state. It says that connection is established. And it's also going to show the PID, that is the process ID. Then after process ID, finally it's going to show the program name. So you need to look at these records and see, is there any program running which you don't recognize? Is there any process which you don't recognize? So that means that's an indication that it's a suspicious process. Generally, investigators know which are the standard processes, which are the standard. We do not have to worry about the process IDs. Basically, we investigators know that which are the standard program names. Apart from that, if anything else is running, then it's a doubt. So you can term it as a suspicious activity. Let's try to find out, are there any suspicious processes. You can see here that there's something called as Python 3. So that's a valid process. Fine. Basically, I don't see anything suspicious here because most of the process names are standard names. So let's go to the next command. So if you want to know more about netstat, you can just say man netstat. So it says that print network connections, routing tables, interface statistics, then mastered connections and multicast memberships. So basically it deals with all these things. Now if you want to know more about all these commands, so basically the big five, the best resources again to go for Linux system administrators manual, Linux network administrators manuals. Then next, try to list out the suspicious processes by investigating a PID. So let's say here ls hyphen a, then ir, then slash prop slash star slash cwd 2. Then let's redirect the output to slash dev slash null and send the output to grep. Grep is basically a pattern search. And say tmp. Okay. So there are no suspicious processes have been found. So it has just listed the tmp folder name. If there is any suspicious activity, it shows the process ID and it also shows that if something is running from tmp folder. Now we see here that there is nothing which is running from tmp folder. So we can assume that there is no suspicious activity going on here. So similarly, if you write a command that is ls hyphen air, then slash prop slash star slash, this time we'll search, we have to mention for exe. Now specify here slash dev slash null. This time we need to say grep deleted. Now note here that it has displayed nothing. The basic goal of this command is that we want to know whether there are any deleted processes which are running. See, basically the concept is very simple. You can kill a process, you can terminate a process by using kill command. When you kill command, it should terminate. It should never run in the background. But if it's still running in the background, even after killing it, then that means it's a suspicious process. Then next is suspicious directories. Now how can you say that it's a suspicious directory, or when you can identify that a particular directory is suspicious directory? Basically these suspicious directories are used to hide malicious binaries. So binaries are also executables. So like we have .exe files in Windows operating system. So in Linux operating system we will be having .bin files or .o files or .out files. Then basically these are used to hide this stolen data. So some person can create a folder on your system. Okay, it can be a hidden folder, and he can use your system to store all the suspicious data or stolen data. It's possible. So in our previous classes, we have seen how to uh, check or how to list hidden files and hidden directories. If any file or if any folder begins with a dot, then that means it's a hidden directory or hidden file. Okay, so hacker can create a hidden file on your system after taking control, and he can just go on dumping his data on your system. So that is possible. So you need to investigate, are there any such directories. Then hackers don't target actually all the directories, they target few of the directories. They know that they, if they store data in home directory, you will easily detect it. If they store it in documents, if they store it in downloads, if they store it in home directory or even desktop, you can easily spot them. So that's why they use some standard folders where you can store the, where they can store the data, but they will be, they will not be noticed by you. For example, /tmp folder. Okay, whatever happens in tmp folder, you are actually least bothered. It's not a standard direct. You are not going to access the standard directory. So similarly, /var/tmp folder, then /dev folder, then /dev/shm folder, then /bin folder. In /bin folder, basically all the commands are stored, all the executables are stored. Then /sbin folder, then /usr/bin, then /usr/sbin, then /etc, then /var/log folder, then /var/spool folder, then in public underscore html folder, and there are some directories where they can store the data. So if they store the data in these directories, normal people, they will not be able to know. They cannot even imagine that somebody has hacked their system and they're storing the data in their system. So public underscore HTML is a folder. It is used basically whenever you're hosting a website. Okay, so in your cPanel or in your hosting account, you see that you find public underscore HTML folder. So if anybody hacks your website, it's not that they will only corrupt your data or they will only corrupt your uh, homepage or they will deface your homepage. It's not like that. So they can, once they get access, they can do whatever they want. So they can use your server space, okay, to store their data, to store their stolen data. Now let's see, are there any suspicious directories or weird names in these above mentioned folders? So the most important thing what they are going to do is, or what they do is they hide it. Okay, so we know that there's a -a switch we can use with ls command to list hidden files and folders. So let me say ls minus al, okay, space /bin. Okay, there's actually nothing here. Let me modify the location. So I'll say /usr/bin. So now you can see here that it has listed the files and folders. Now there are some things which are actually uh, redirected to something else. So mostly here you will find command names. Yeah, there was something here. Yeah. So you can see here that it is displaying the arrow. That means that it is giving the indication to me that X has been redirected to X org. But now you can see here next line, it says that X11 is redirected to just dot. Okay. So after dot there can be a space. So it is very difficult to identify a space. You cannot display a space. Okay, so that's a challenge, that's a problem. And if you see here, there are all kinds of permissions for all users. So this is something serious. Yes, this is something suspicious. We generally don't give all kinds of permissions to everyone. But here, read, write, execute permission is there for everyone. So this may be suspicious. We cannot guarantee, please say that it's suspicious, but we cannot be sure, but it is still a suspicious folder. Let's see if there is something else again. Yeah. So even you can see here, there are some files, right, where all the permissions are given to all the all of these files. So it appears that it is suspicious. So many times it's very difficult to go through the output. So best thing what we can do is redirect the output to some text file. So I'll say here output.txt. So now you can see here that it is not showing the output on the command prompt. But let me check the output here. Yeah. Okay. Now you can see here there are actually lots of records. There are 2684 lines. That means there are 2000 more than 2500 records maybe. Now you can see here there are some things which are happening. See this file. It's just a bracket open. This cannot be any folder name. Okay, this cannot be any file name. And even if you consider here the file size is more. So you can consider that this may be suspicious again. Okay, so the best way is whenever you are executing the commands, redirect the output to some text file so that it becomes easy for you to navigate. Even you can use this text file as input to some standard tools, so which will go through the list of processes and they may try to identify if there is anything suspicious. Now we can also try to find out are there any hidden directories and suspicious directories again. So for that we can use a command called as find then slash then space hyphen type, then let's say D. D stands for directory, then specify here dot star in quotes. So again, in this list, if you find something which you don't recognize, okay, then that may be suspicious directory. And we can see here that there are some hidden files are also there. Let's scroll up and see whether can we find anything suspicious. Yeah, again nothing suspicious. But I don't know what is this. Slash home slash Kali. After that slash, then there's something called as dot John. I don't recognize this. Okay, got it. So this John is nothing but John the Ripper tool. Because there's also Mozilla, there's also WP Scan. Okay, so if you don't find anything which is not standard, and if you find suspicious, then you can list them using this command. That is find slash type, then list all the directories, and extension can be anything. Then next we can find out the suspicious files. Now, how can you identify that a particular file is a suspicious file? Basically, you find the exploit traces. They are available as files with different extensions. Then files, they look like something, but in reality, they are something else. Say, for example, the extension may look like it's an image file with an extension .jpg, but in reality, it can be .txt file. Whenever you click on a JPG image to see the image, instead of displaying the image, it may execute a script which is embedded into it. So that's a possibility. Then you will also find that the names of the binaries have been modified and they are also stored somewhere else. So usually the standard process names, they have to be stored in standard location, such as slash user slash bin or slash user slash yes bin or just the slash bin directory or slash yes bin directory. Now let us try to find out, are there any files which we don't recognize? So let's say ls minus al in slash tmp folder. So I don't see any suspicious activity here, but you can still investigate this XIM Unix. But I think it's a system file, so you don't have to worry about it. Generally, you will find files with .back extension, .dmp extension. So how those files are generated is generally what hackers do is they crash. They try to crash the processes, or they try to abnormally terminate the processes. So when any process is terminated abnormally or abruptly, then it is going to create a dump file. It's going to create a crash file. So with that, you will come to know whether there is a suspicious activity. So if many processes have been terminated abruptly, then that means that there may be a suspicious activity, because you will find log files for all those crashes. Now let's also try to find out, are there any suspicious files and hidden binaries. So for that, let's navigate to /tmp folder. So let's execute a command here, find slash hyphen name, then in quotes dot star, then hyphen exec file minus p, and here empty brackets in quotes slash semicolon. We are basically specifying a pattern here. Then Segra PLF. I don't know why it is saying missing argument, because the command syntax is right. Okay, fine. So we can also try to find out named pipes. Okay. So now you can see that it is displaying named pipes. So again, if you find something which you don't recognize, then that can be suspicious. Then let's try to find out, are there any suspicious users? So let's say ls hyphen air pipe command, then grep dot star history. Okay. So output is empty. That means there are no suspicious users. Now let us try to find out, are there any suspicious keys? Find slash hyphen name, then let's say authorized keys. Okay, so this says permission denied. Okay, that's fine. Although I am logged in as root account, but still, like it says permission denied. Maybe uh, the permissions are missing. So now what you have to look in the output of this command is that first thing is, do you recognize all the users and whether all those users have the SSH credentials. So SSH means secure shell. So with SSH you can log into other systems remotely. Then let's try to execute cron tab command. No cron tab for root. So with this, with -l option, okay. So with -l option, I am trying to list the users cron tab. Okay. So let's see what cron tab does. So it maintains the cron tab files for individual users. So with this, actually you can see, are there any scheduled activities for a particular user. So when it says that no cron tab for root, that means there are no scheduled activities for root user. The next one is the suspicious logs. Now, log file monitoring is very important activity. As I have already discussed, that you should have appropriate or right logging and monitoring tools, because log files are like your sensitive footages. If anything happens, you can go to log files, or you can write your own script and get the data which you are looking for. So that can be the piece of evidence. But if there are no log files and if there are no logging and monitoring tools set up, then that will be a bit difficult. There are some standard log files. Say for example, there is a folder or there is a file called as /var/log/wtmp. So this lists or this logs data of all valid past logins. Maybe we can try to execute a command, say /var/log log slash WTMP. Okay. So you can see here that it is showing the data of all past logins, all valid past logins. But the problem with log files is that many times it is not in a human readable form, and they have got their own formats. So again I have redirected the output to some file. Yeah. So you can see here, this is the content. So on terminal it is showing one thing, but here in text file it is showing something else. Okay, so it's basically generated by a machine, so it is hard to read. So you need tools which can read these log files and extract the required information and give it to you. And one more problem with log files is that each command, each tool generates log files in a different format. The next, there's a file called a slash var slash log last log. So it shows last login for each user. So we have also executed this command last log. Okay. But you can also say cat slash var slash log slash last log. There's nothing to display. Then you can also display all bad logins, and that you can find in the file slash var slash log slash btmp. Let's see, is there any content in slash var slash log slash btmp? Okay, there is no data. That means there are no bad logins. And you can see all current logins. So let's say again cat slash var slash run slash utmp. Yeah. So now you can see that it shows the current logins. Now let's execute this command ls -al space slash var slash log. So let's look at the file sizes here, and let's see, are there any 0 byte logs? So if you find that there is any 0 byte log, then that means that's suspicious. Yeah, there is one here. So you can see this one here. So it's a 0 byte log. So this can be the suspicious activity. There's one more. Okay, that is alternatives.log. So there are two 0 byte logs we have found out, which may be suspicious, but you cannot directly say that it is suspicious. You need to investigate them and then you can decide. Then you can also list null erased logins. So for that, let's use a command called as utmp dump slash var slash run slash utmp. Okay, again, we don't find anything suspicious. So how you can find something is suspicious is that you find some empty spaces here and you find 0 instead of these numeric numbers. So 0 means it's type null, and for type null the entry will be empty. Show the folder name, it will not show the terminal, it will not show the date. But now for all these cases I think it is showing something. But here there is one field which is blank. So you need to further investigate to know whether it is very suspicious. So similarly, we can also create a dump of bad logins. So we'll use the same command utmp dump, but instead of utmp here, we'll say btmp. Okay, so it says there is no such files and cannot open. So that means there are no bad logins. So because of that, it has not created the file. So again, how do you identify? You will identify in the output that there are again type 0 activity, that means null activities, and fields are empty. There are no entries basically. So now UTMP works on WTMP, UTMP and BTMP. Let's also try it on WTMP. So again it says there is no such file, so you don't have to worry about it because there are no bad logins and other things. Now let's check this command last p. So it says that just BTMP begins Saturday, February 11, 2023. So again, how do you identify that something is suspicious is that you will find null entries. But again here there are no null entries. You can check for all zero size logs by just typing this command ls -al /var /log/star. So now we have found out some records. This one tunnel.log, it says 0. Let's see, are there any other processes which are named as 0? Yeah, we have seen few earlier. Fine, we can stop here, and I'll share the list of commands on the WhatsApp group, so you can refer. If there are any doubts, you can ask.
Poonam, Swati, if you have any doubt, you can raise. Otherwise,
If there are no doubts, we can stop. Okay. I'll share the documents in the WhatsApp group in another 10-15 minutes.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Welcome.
right, sir. Thank you.
Then we can end the session here today.
Yes, sir, I think. చాలా బాబు పెట్టేసే పెన్ను పెట్టేసే వేరే సినిమా పెట్టేసే ఒకసారి ఆ అమ్మాయికి ఫోన్ చేస్తాను శిల్పకి ఏమో వాళ్ళే చేస్తామంటారు చేయరు అదే వచ్చి అంతా మరి పొగరపోతాను అలాగే ఇది పెట్టి అమ్మా మళ్ళీ పోతుంది నాది ఈయన గారు ఏమిటి చేశాడు ఇప్పుడే వస్తున్నారా ఏంటమ్మా ఎట్లా చేశాడంట మన ఓకే ఓకే వాడికి ఎట్లా రాసాను అన్న అయిందా బాగైందా అంటే దాంట్లో ఏంటి క్వశ్చన్స్ ఆన్సర్స్ ఉంటాయో ఏముంటాయో అవునా పోనీ అయిపోయింది కదా 2 పరీక్షలు అయిపోయినాయి అదే కానీలే మనకి ఉంది రాయడం మనమంతా అయిపోయింది కదా రిజల్ట్ రాని ఎప్పుడన్నా వస్తుంటారు రిజల్ట్ అది వీళ్ళు ఈ రవిమామ వస్తే రావచ్చు 25-26 మరి ఏం చెప్పలేదు వాడు కన్ఫర్మేషను చూద్దాంలే మాట్లాడదాం అది తర్వాత సరే అయితే ఇంటికి మేనేజ్ చేస్తాను మళ్ళీ రైట్ బాగానే రాసిన అంటున్నాడు అట్టుకోండి తినాలన్నా మళ్ళీ
పాలు వేసుకుని మిక్స్ చేసుకుని
అబ్బానికి నేను చేయలేదు
మామూలు
చేయరాదు
నేను చేస్తాను నేను తినేసాను
ఏవి ఏమి తినకపోతారు ఇప్పటికే ఏమన్నా
పెళ్ళిగా తినడానికి మెత్తగా ఉన్నాయి
ఏమిటి నీ జంకులు వచ్చాయి జంకులు వచ్చాయి ఏమిటా
జంకులు ఏమొచ్చాయి
ఎలాగ జంకులు ఇన్సిడెంట్ రెస్పాన్స్ హ్యాకింగ్ ఆర్టికల్స్ పంపించాడు గజేంద్ర కూడా నెక్స్ట్ కాంప్రమైజ్ డిటెక్షన్
సరే సరే
రిమైన్ మ్యూటెడ్ ఏమైతే నాకు భాస్కర్ రావు తెలియట్లేదు భాస్కర్ రావు బి అంటే బాగున్నారని
మీ క్లాస్మేట్ ఏమో
అయితే తెలియదు శ్రీనివాస్ పిండం पेपर अटेंडेंट टॉपिक्स में
क्या आप भी गैस सिलेंडर के खर्चे से हो गए हैं परेशान? पर अब चिंता की कोई बात नहीं, क्योंकि ड्रीम्स अब लाया है मैक्स गैस सेवियर, जो करेगा आपके गैस सिलेंडर का खर्चा 25% से भी कम। इसे यूज करना बहुत ही आसान है।
परिपथ
జాతి సాగిస్తున్న ఘోర కృత్యాల వల్ల జీవకోటి అంతా సంక్షోభిస్తున్నది.
దానవులు ధర్మదేవతనే చెరబట్టి హింసిస్తున్నారు. పరమేష్టి ప్రసాదించిన వరాల వల్ల రావణ బ్రహ్మ మరణాన్ని జయించి అసురుడై విజృంభించాడు.
అష్టదిక్పాలకుల చేత పంచభూతముల చేత ఊడిగం చేయించి ప్రకృతి ధర్మాలనే అల్లకల్లోలం చేసి వేస్తున్నాడు. దేవదానవ యక్ష కిన్నర గరుడోరగాది జాతులలో ఎవరూ అతన్ని జయించలేరు, వధించలేరు.
అవును, అయితే నరుల నుండి వానరుల నుండి అతడు రక్షణ కోరలేదు. వారు చాలా అల్పులన్న భావంతో నిర్లక్ష్యం చేశాడు. ఆ అహమే అతని అధపతనానికి దారి తీస్తుంది. తన చుట్టూ ఉన్న శక్తులను జయించిన అతను తనలో అనుక్షణం పెరుగుతున్న పెనుశత్రువు అహంకారాన్ని జయించలేదు. కామక్రోధాలు, లోభమోహాలు, మదమత్సరాలు ఆ అహంకారానికి తోడైనాయి. శాపాగ్నులు ప్రజ్వరిల్లుతున్నాయి. అతని విద్య, వివేకం, బుద్ధి, తపస్సు దగ్ధమవుతున్నాయి.
స్వరార్చనకు భంగం కలిగించాను, మన్నించండి. కానీ తప్పనిసరైంది. అశోకవనంలో తాము బంధించిన స్త్రీలారుగురు.
మేము బంధించడమా, బాధించడమా? వనములో విడిది చేయించామంతే. ఎవరు చెప్పింది? ఎవరు ఆ దురాత్ములు?
ఒకరిని కాదు ప్రభు, ఈ ఉదయం లంకా నగరం అంతా అతలాకుతలమైపోయింది. ఆ స్త్రీల ఘోర శాపం గురించి.
శాపమా?
అవును ప్రభు, ఆ పతివ్రతలారుగురు ఈనాటి వేకుజామున అగ్ని కల్పించి అందులో ఆత్మాహుతి చేసుకున్నారు ప్రభు. మిమ్మల్ని మన వంశాన్ని శపించారు. ఈ లంకా నగరం అంతా అగ్నిలో దగ్ధమై భస్మీభూతం కావాలని శపించారు.
లంకను అగ్ని దహిస్తాడా? దేవి మండోదరి, ఈ రావణ బ్రహ్మ పంచభూతాలను పిడికిట బంధించాడు. అష్టదిక్పాలకులను ఆటలాడించాడు. సర్వదేవతా గణాలచే శరణు అనిపించాడు. ఆ గణాల అధినేత మహేంద్రునితో ఉడిగము చేయించాడు. అట్టి సర్వభూత గర్వ విద్రావణుడైన ఈ రావణ బ్రహ్మయ్యలు.
When you get your next big idea, Grammarly's tone suggestions can help pitch it with confidence to get your team on board.
Did you see her email?
Already. Grammarly makes all the difference in your professional success. Click the blue button to download.
లంకను అగ్ని దహిస్తాడా? వాడి కంటది గుండె.
tomorrow, not tomorrow.
Tomorrow
for the deal. She told you that that is the time. Till such time you can prepare at home, and then how long does it take for you to reach this place? 1 hour. So you need to start by 1 only then. Complete your lunch and then start up, I think. वो भी सही है.